Okay, so welcome everybody to Hack.py Part 5. Today we're going to go into web scraping. So it will be taught by Arthur and Dennis.
And David.
Yeah, and so before I give it to them to teach, do you guys want to see the resources and stuff? It should be in the share notes. The link to the slides and the link to the replit should be in there if you want to follow along. Also, the checking code is assembly. You can also find that in the share notes. So you can thank whoever it is for making these checking codes so whack. But yeah, without further ado, I'll give it to Arsen and Dennis to start teaching you guys about web scraping. It's gonna be really cool. So
thanks, Daniel. So here you can find the resources. Be sure you have access to the GitHub by now. We don't really have much starter code for the repository. You can just follow it along. There isn't much to copy or have a boilerplate. And so yeah, we're gonna talk about web scraping today. So what's web scraping? It consists of getting data available on websites. This can be done manually, but since we are all people like good with computers, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna use a bot for it. And so why would you need a web scrape? Like why would you need web scraping? Like imagine if you need to gather some data, let's say about job listings, and we know there are like websites, the Kaggle and other data websites that you can gather the data from, or there are like APIs you can use, but sometimes some websites offer neither, and you're stuck. You have exhausted all possible searches on Google, so you don't know what to do. So that's when you refer to web scraping. So what's the workflow web scraping like? First, you identify the link pattern. So sometimes the data on the website is not just on one page. It's just like you have to switch between pages, and you have to understand how the link, the URL changes once you switch between the pages. That's why you identify the link patterns. You create a link generator, and then you fetch the website. Once you have the website, you identify the tag and the attributes that wrap the data you want to have, and then you extract and store data. I know all of this is very general and theoretical, but we'll dive deeper when we'll start actually coding. And since I talked about getting data about jobs, we'll scrape the job postings on Indeed. It's pretty hot topic among us students who are constantly applying to internships. So this should interest you. So what are we going to scrape? Well, we'll just scrape the title, the company name, location, salary, rating, and the date posted. All of these are information that you can use to make your job searching process more efficient. So you know not to apply to low rating jobs, to apply to jobs that give you good salary. And you definitely want to first apply to the jobs that were posted recently and are at a convenient location for you. And I'll give the floor to Dennis to talk about the technology behind web scraping.
Okay, thank you, Arsen. So yeah, for the building blocks that we are going to use for this workshop is first we're going to use the beautiful soup is basically like a web scraping library provided by Python, and then like we also will use request library to allow us to use regular HTTP methods, and we'll definitely using Python as a main language for this workshop, and also Panda basically to make our data after we are doing the web scraping to make it like looks pretty, and then like lastly we are using Repli to do very live sharing. And yeah, let's go into for the workflow section. So we need to like identify URL patterns. So as you see, this is like a sample URL pattern from Indeed that can be used for our web scraping. So we have the HTTP protocol, and also like the domain. We have indeed.com, and so we have like query like the question mark, which like kind of like identify as a query. So we want to search as a query, and we want to search with key and value. in query you can provide Q and value. So we want to search Q, which is like the I think it's like the search. We provide as interest rate, and then we also want to provide an additional key I, which is L, or I think L here is like location. In this case, we provide as United States as the location, and we also want to star M10 page, which can we I can explain in the next slides, which is basically like the why we this is like what we want to scrape, and it's like we want to scrape at the start of 10, because like in this website, they only limit like 10 job listing per page, so we have to do some kind of like hacking, so that we can scrape every single job listing in every single page on Indeed by just specify a logic here. Like we can start I equal 1 to until like 100. It depends on how many pages that are in the Indeed.com that we want to scrape. So that's why we provide a start query. So the next one, like basically like usually like our question when you are visit our website, we are definitely like we are this is basically our expectation, like very cool website and very nice. But in reality, it's like basically just a bunch of HTML tag that can serve as like as the basically underlying of every single website that we already have seen. And then continue for the workflow, we have like standard HTML tag. I just want to like go through on the basic of HTML tag. So we have image as if you want to specify an image, we provide the tag name as an image, and also we have additional src attribute to provide the source of image. In this case, the value is cat. Probably is, I assume that this is like the cat picture, and then we also have additional alt as a cat. So it's just very recap for standard element tag on HTML. So another thing for the workflow is we will use a very important method for doing the web scraping. In this case, we're going to use the soup library. If we already instantiate the object, if we already import this library, we can do a bunch of like we can call a bunch of methods. In this case, we have like find, which is providing a bunch of like parameter on the documentation that we can do. In this case, we have we provide the element that we want to find, and also like additional attribute, which is like the ID of the element, standard HTML tag. So the find method is like I think it's like return the first element that match this HTML attribute. And then we also have like find all, which like basically we'll going through every single every single div that are matching with this attribute, which is div, and also with ID search count page. It's going to return an array of div. So now let's start the code. Before that, I'm just going to like go through like the import tools that we probably will use. So we are going to use a request library, which basically allows us to send HTTP requests to get HTML files, and we also will use the get. We are going to use the get method in order to make a get request. And grab the const of URL, and we also will use beautiful soup library, and then specify as a BSV for to make it very short, and also panda library to make it the data frame to more pretty and then analyze it. And lastly, we are using Lego expression to do like some kind of string manipulation. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, just kidding. So let's start to do some code session. Sharing the web. Wait. Do you all already have like the reply, right? So let me send the reply in the chat. Oh, you already have it. Cool.
Yeah, I already sent it.
Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. So let's start to basically import the library we want to use. Because I'm kind of too lazy, so I already provide the actual libraries that I can import. So this is like basically the library that we will need, like as I say before. So we need the request and also yes, beautiful soap panda and also request. So the first thing that we have to do is we want to like know like the URL that we want to scrape. So if you go to indeed.com, yeah. So can you guys like specify like what kind of internship, like what kind of like job that you want, like also like United States or like the location, so that we can specify like what kind of job that you want from the query. I just like need audience participation for like filling the URL that we want to find. You probably can like like typing on the chat like the type of location or like the job that you want. Okay, software engineering, and then oh God, what? I think I'll just do like software engineering and also like the location to be United States, just for demonstration purpose. And we find it jobs. So yeah, and then I there's a job listing here, and I can just like copy paste the link directly, so that, and then define a new variable called URL to scrape. What's that? Scrape equal to the string. So this is like the link that we want, the page that we want to scrape. We will define a header. So yeah, just create a header so that every browser can accept, we can like imitate our action when we are doing the web scraping as a browser. So before that, we also need to provide an array that can basically store the data after we were doing the web scraping. So we will need the job title array, and also we will also need summary for job, company name, they posted or of the job, location, and then rating of the job. Lastly, we also need the salary of the job. Cool. So yeah, so after this, we are going to make a first GET request to the URL that we want to scrape. The way we do this is just by using request library first we have to define the variable called first result, and then using the request library, we will use the get function in order, and then specify the URL to scrape as an argument for that function, for the method, and also specify the header for that. So let's just run it first, and then checking the actual result and print it. I think we have to install it first before when we first using it. Just wait a little bit. Installing, what the hell? So just a quick recap, we were doing like we're just like scraping the indit, and then there's like the software engineering job that we want to find, and also the location, which is like United States, and so like doing provide request get function in order, and then I provide the URL to scrape. I don't know why it's taking really long. Okay, we already have the response. So as you see, we have like status code 200, which is like our result is success. And then because I think like this response is an object, we can kind of inspect it a little bit. And if we inspect the text, if we inspect the text key and run it, yeah. So this is like basically the text, which is like every single HTML text that are from this get request. This every single like HTML that we want to use in order to scrape in order to like getting the things that we want from by using web scraping it. And after that, we're going to store this thing into we're going to like using this result, but before that we will using Beautiful Soup in order to like getting the right data in order to do the web scraping. First, we specify a variable called soup, and then using Beautiful Soup library, Beautiful Soup, which I think this one is like constructor of the library, and then just using the first result.text and passing it as the first argument of the constructor. And then since I think we have a lot of parser in the Beautiful Soup, but in this case we're going to use HTML parser. So yeah, we have the soup right now, and then yeah. So let's just check the actual, just for curiosity, like what is the soup going to do? Yeah, I think still the same. Yeah, cool. And then after that, we're going to use the find all function from the Visual Soup that I already explained before, which basically before that we are going to like going back to the page that we want to scrape, and then and we will use developer tools in order to inspect the element that we want to get. In this case, our goal is like to find the number of jobs that are in this query, which is software engineering, also United States. So I just opened the web dev tools right now. You can if you are in Mac, you can do like Option Command I in order to do the shortcut. Otherwise, you just go through the setting of your browser and then like just go to, I think it's like developer tools, and then we want to find the number of jobs, and I press the element button here in order to inspect the element in HTML page right now. So we want to scrape this thing, which is like the number of jobs. As you see, the here is like the number of jobs that we want to scrape has an ID called search count page and also an element div. So we want to basically using the find method in order to retrieve this HTML element. So it's like search count page, and there's also there are 1,397 jobs in this query search. And then because we want to get the div, then as you see, we want to get the div, right? So we just specify the final first argument as a div, and we also need the ID called search count page. Yeah. So and then store the result into job divs variable. So let's just print this this square, this like after the result. Wait, I think I need to remove this thing first. Stop. Yeah, so this is like the result of the find all method. So as there are div within it's return an array because it's find all, and then just one element because there's only one div that are matching this condition ID search count page and also div, and there's like a text. So because this array we can just like access the first element because there's only like one element there. So we need to access the first element, and then we only care about because we only want to get the number, which is like 1,003 this thing, and then so we just need to like getting the text. So just call get.text. It's standard HTML. It's just like the field of the object, and then yeah, this supposed to be like getting the actual this number, this ring, and then like and then after that, because as you see here, there's like a bunch of space here. So how do you remove it? So because and we're going to use super duper complex regular expression and store it into numjobs variable. So using the regular expression library that we already defined before, temporary, and then using the search of function in the regular expression library, and then specify the pattern for regular expression, and also the actual string that we want to apply for regular expression, and then just do the group, and just try to print the result of the regular expression, the number of jobs. Okay, cool. now I think we're done. Like we successfully like scrape the number of jobs from this page, which is double, right? Like 1,300, which is double this number. Cool. Yeah, I think next is like Arsen. We're going to like go through with the more complex code scraping. We're going to like scraping all of a bunch of job listing on this page.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, so based on the stuff that Dennis covered, we'll just scrape all the information, the title, the summary. Actually, let me check if everybody can hear me. Can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So we will use all of the concepts covered by Dennis to scrape the title, the summary, the company name, rating, and the days posted from Indeed. All right. So first thing, let's get rid of it. We'll declare a variable I, and we'll use it in our loop. All right, so the reason I run the loop in this way, if I go on the Indeed website, you can see if I switch between the pages, say if I go to the second page, just pay attention to how the URL changes. You see that we get this new part, and start is equal to 10. So it seems like the pages, when we switch between pages in Indeed search results, this number increases by decimals, so by 10. So we are going to use that back, and we are actually going to, this means that we're going to scrape like 50 pages, because 50 times 10 is 500, as you all know. Let's see. All right, so just like we did before, we are going to request the web page. And this time, we're also going to add this part that we noticed helps us switch between the pages. So we add end start is equal to, and parsing the string I times 10. So this loop is just going to pause here. This loop is just going to navigate between the pages and get the results from each page. And also as a second argument, we're passing the headers we are going to use, which we defined here. Also, you can use headers. Usually some websites, they require that the requests are made only by a web browser. So you can add like the user agent field of header to act like a web browser and to achieve your goal. All right. Did I make any mistake here? Oh, yeah. Request. Now, once we have once we already have the results from the page, we just need to extract this part of the page, this column of search results. Actually, it's easier if I did like this. So this column, which has a tag TD and the ID is result call. So we need to extract this so that after it, we can sequentially go through each of these cards and extract the data we need from it. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna say soup is equal to Also, so basically, we're saying that we want to use information from the text information we got from our request, and we want to parse it as HTML. Now, declare the variable page jobs, which is going to be an object that's going to contain this column that we are going to extract by specifying that we want the tag to be TD, and we want the ID to be, as we can see, it's result call here, so we are going to use it. Perfect. Now we have the page jobs object of this column on our website, not our website, but on the Indeed website. Now, if we go to individual job cards, we can see that the job card itself is wrapped in a div, which has different classes, but one of them is the job search -serp job card, which is unique only to the job cards in our column of the jobs. So we are going to use that to get the individual cards in our column. So equal to find all, and there is a difference between find and find all. This is very similar to the way we do in JavaScript when we are just picking an element. The find will just pick the first one, and with find all, we're getting an array of all the elements in our web page that satisfy the criteria. Our criteria is that tag is div and class, and we put underscore here because class is a reserved keyword in Python, and for that reason we don't use class, just class, but class underscore is equal to. I'm just gonna copy this part. Right, perfect. Now we have all the jobs, and it might be intuitive now that we are going to iterate through all of these job cards one by one and extract the necessary information for us. Okay, so the way we're going to extract the, let's say the title, it's very similar to the way we did here. Actually, I think it's right. It was supposed to be somewhere here. Anyways, so I'm just gonna say card title equal to, again, using the same process, I'm just gonna go and try to find what's the tag that wraps our title, and let's see. If I inspect the element here, I see that it's an H2 with the class title. So I'm just going to use that information. Let's say cars.find H2, and the class is equal to title. And I'm adding the text, indicating that I just want the text and not the whole object. And in the same way, not to be redundant and go, not to waste your time, I'm just gonna copy paste the same thing that we do for card summary, card company, card days, and you can verify for yourself that, that each of them extracts the information you need. So here, the summary is contained in a div with the class summary. The company name is contained in a span, in a element span with the class, company, and the days posted, it's in a span with the class name date. And for the rating, location and salary, it's kind of different. As you can see, like for the salary, let's say, not all the companies here have their salary. Actually, just some of them do. And In the same way, in the search results, not all of the companies have their rating, and not all of them have their location provided. So we must take this into account, and the way we're going to extract that information. So let's start with the location. We create a variable card location, and we give it the default value of not applicable. But now we say if our card actually contains an element with the, is it, let's check. So the class is location and the tag is div. So we say if it contains div with class equal to none, and this specific card has the location information, so it's safe to extract it. So we just say card location is equal to, I'm just going to copy paste this and add text. And again, I'm not to waste much of your time. The process is very similar for rating and for salary, as the same for location. So I'm just gonna copy the code I already have here. And again, you can verify for yourself that this works. Here we have rating, and we're finding all elements that have the tag span and the class rating content. And for salary, again, span and the class salary. It seems like we have here all the information we wanted to have for each card. So the only task we are left with is, you see that we have our array here. We just want to add this new information we gathered to our arrays. So I'm just gonna say, let's say for the title, append and I'm going to use this replace part to get rid of all the new line characters, because for some reason when we're scraping it from Indeed, it just keeps appending new line characters to the titles and all the other pieces of the information. And we're going to do the same process for summary, company, page posted, location, rating, and salary. You can again check first off that all of these are valid and work. And finally, we get to turn the counter of our loop. But now that we have all of this information, it's just it was kind of fall out of our scope for this workshop. But I'm just quickly going to add all of this to a data frame to make it more presentable and make it easier to work with. And now if I print my data frame, what happens? I made a mistake somewhere here. Let's see, line 36. Let's go to the parser. Guys have any questions? It's a log thing, but the lack of news is probably good news. So it's all right. Also, if I went too fast through all of this stuff, we'll just post the link to the same code with all the comments so you can refer back to it in case if you need to brush up or try to dive deeper into anything that you misunderstood.
Yeah, it takes a while, huh?
Yeah, I think I might have run infinite loop. Doesn't seem like that.
Oh no.
Let me try running the solution code.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe something different. I don't know.
All right, let's just wait for another minute. If it's not successful, I will just replace it with the solution code. No, there it is. All right, perfect. All right, yeah, it took a while, but so we have 925 rows of information. So we didn't scrape all the data, just 50 pages, but this is a lot. Like you can use it for, I don't know, data analysis, whatever interests you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our coding part. And actually, that's all for today. And if you guys have any questions we can answer?
Yeah, ask any questions you guys might have. Did everyone kind of get the idea of beautiful soup and all that stuff? Okay, I guess there's no question.
Yeah, I guess there's no question.
Unless Thomas has a question. Okay, that was good. All right, guys. Awesome. Yeah, so thank you everyone for coming out to this workshop. Next week we will be going through data visualization. So if you're more interested in like what we can do with that data, like say you just web scrape something and now you want to like do cool stuff with the data, you can like, visualize it. That's what we'll be going over next week. And so this will be taught by Arsen and Michael. And next week will be our last Hack.py. So yeah, I hope everyone can come out to that. And yeah, next week's workshop will be really cool. I know like Arsen and Michael have some pretty cool things planned. So yeah, well, that's it. See everybody next week. Thank you, Arsen and Dennis, for good work. That's good.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Let me unmute everyone real quick, and then so we can give a round of applause to Arsen and Dennis. If everyone can unmute.
Let the memeing begin.
Hey, that was a good job. Okay. Good workshop. Yeah, I hope everyone learned a lot. Yeah. Oh, and if you want to find the recording of this, it should be just go to the same link, acmnode.com/hack, and you should find the same recording there. Maybe one day we'll upload it to YouTube. I don't know. We'll see.
One day.
All right, I gotta leave you all because I have an assignment by tonight. So.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, same with me. Cool.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
See you. Bye. Cool.
Bye.